When I was 30 years old, I was struggling to make sales. Coming from the music industry, a tough industry, I learned a simple technique taught by the people that were masters of selling. And you too can rise up and stop struggling and get right to the top of the sales ladder by following the simplified techniques that took years to develop and You Can Talk, You Can Sell, this coaching program, which you'll find right here. My name is Al Green. Hi, Alfred Green here. Good to see you again. We're doing the You Can Talk, You Can Sell system, which is a sales program based on selling by not selling. One of the key components that can be used to accelerate your sales and make them more effective is using a method that I call the Fast Five. And what is the Fast Five? Years ago, if you've ever studied any sales trainers, there was a great, very popular sales trainer named J. Douglas Edwards. J. Douglas Edwards talked about the fact that the sale was typically made on the fifth contact and maybe as much as the seventh contact with the customer if it's based on a cold call. Now, a cold call is truly not really a cold call if the public knows your company and your service. But if it is something that you might find is, let's say, a brand new product or a brand new service, and you want to introduce yourself or your company to this new customer, the typical contact is made by when you visit the person, one-on-one selling, because you're selling to them in person, one-on-one, eye to eye, as they say, toenail to toenail. And when you do that, you're making an impression with them and you're showing them how different you are because you're not just the regular pitch and sell salesperson. Using the techniques we've already covered, you have that person talking. Now, that's your very first contact. So, what is the Fast Five? We want to get to 5 contacts as quickly as possible. Why is that important? Because your competitors usually don't even move quickly enough. They kind of let it happen organically. And we're not talking about organics here. We're talking about you actually finessing a sale because it's something that you can do. The systems that we put in place that are part of this program that are so simple have never failed. So let's go into the Fast Five. You've had your first meeting. Now, how did you leave the meeting? The customer might say they have to go into budget to look at it, or they have to think about it or discuss it with another person. And that's perfectly logical if they do that. But what you don't realize is that they might be using that as a stall to put you off, but at the same time, the reason why they might be putting you off is they probably don't have a good sense of either yourself or the product that you're selling or the approach that they've been treated with. So let's do it this way instead. Let's call that contact number 1. Now, once you are done with that, it's perfectly okay to call them about 2 hours later or later on that day and get that same person on the phone and say, hey, listen, this is Al again. I just met with you. I want to know, did I give you all the brochures? Because I have 5 different brochures or flyers that explain everything. Did you get a chance to look at them yet? And if they say no, I don't even know if I got all of them. Say, great, let me get some more of them to you. And you can either drop them by or offer to fax them or whatever, okay? Now, that's going to be your second call. That second call, especially if it's done in person, is simply your second contact. Not much is going to happen on your second contact, but give it a little bit of space and create a third contact. It could be the next morning, but all you're going to do is simply make it this simple. Call them the next morning and say, Did you get a chance to look at the brochures I left yesterday? No, I didn't, they might say. Okay, great. I just want to make sure if there's anything I can explain. It sounds to me like you might need some kind of a written quotation or something from me that'll explain the details of what it is that we're doing. The person might say yes or no, but it's perfectly okay. Just say to them, I'd like to fax over to you or send to you, or I'll bring it by, actual quotation with your company's name on it and my company's name on it that explains in writing what it is that you're going to be looking at should you decide to make a move in my favor. Now that would be your third contact. So you see what we're doing. We're going to develop a pattern here. Now you're going to call them later on that day or the next morning, depending on the timing and whatever it is you're selling. And you're going to say basically, I sent you the quotation. Did you receive it? And you might hear something like, yes, we did, but we haven't made a decision yet. That's perfectly fine, you tell them. I just want to make sure that you got it, and I will be in touch with more as it comes up. Okay, now that's contact number 4. Once you got done with contact number 4, the first one was the initial meeting. The second one was to follow up with the brochures. The third one was to ask them if they read the brochures. The fourth one was to propose that you're going to write up a quotation. Okay, that's contact number 4. Now, the next day, or as soon as you find it's comfortable without feeling like you're hounding the person, you're gonna follow up on whatever you sent to them by fax or dropping it off to their office or by email and say, did you receive it? Did you have a chance to look it over? Yes, as I said, they haven't made a decision yet. Okay, great. I just want to cover to you how we're going to deliver this and how fast it can be done. Well, we haven't made a decision yet. That's fine. But when you do make a decision, you're probably going to want to know how fast can we deliver that product. And I just want to cover that with you. Okay, now it's contact number 4. Already the person is getting to know you, okay? Because you've been with them 4 times already. Let's create a 5th contact. Let's do it, let's say, the next morning. It's perfectly okay to call them up and say, by the way, I did send out that quotation. I wanted to add one more thing. Can I go ahead and send that to you? And they'll probably say yes or no. And then maybe you write up an addendum to your quotation talking about delivery and timing. Now, once you've done that, you've got 5 contacts. They're starting to get to know you pretty well. You don't want to be a nuisance, so you don't want to time them too close together. It's a matter, again, of finessing. But they're going to feel comfortable talking to you the next time you call. They might say, oh my God, it's that Al Green again. I've heard that too. But don't worry about that. Get their secretary on the phone or a person who covers for them and say, listen, I sent out some details on the shipping that were added to the quotation. I want to make sure that you had a chance to go over them so you can take them to the decision makers and explain to them. Because once you place the order, again, we're assuming the sale now. Once you place the order, I want you to know that I want to be there to cover to make sure that everything gets installed correctly or gets delivered correctly, whatever it is. Okay, now I'm going for contact number 6 because I want the secretary to say to your buyer, I've got Al Green on the phone, or I've got whoever it is, and they want to make sure that you've got the details about the shipping. Now that way, that person's going to know that you're there. They're also going to get a sense that you seem to really care about this. That's an important factor, that they feel that you care about it, even if it's something like business to business where it's not a personal sale. If you're selling to a homeowner, something personal, they don't want you to be a nuisance either, but they do want to feel familiar enough with you so that they're comfortable around you. Believe it or not, this technique has never failed, and the people that utilize it find that they're doing more selling more often. Why? Because they establish a rapport with the customer much, much faster. And that rapport is everything, because once that rapport is built, the customer will feel very comfortable with you and they will be willing to talk to you again. So now we have to do the follow-up, and following up is one of the most important details of getting a sale closed. But you don't want them to slam the phone down thinking that you're a nuisance. You want them to welcome your call because they feel comfortable that you care enough about them. Remember, it's how you make them feel that matters. And once you build a rapport, it feels more familiar. And they feel almost like a friend, because all of us want to feel like we know somebody that can do something for us. And if you add in the quality that I'll be more available 2 months after the sale or whatever, these are things that will speed your concept along, okay? So that's basically covering the Fast 5. Go ahead and exercise that, give it a try, and you'll see a difference. Until next time, I'll be right here, and you'll be able to get more information right here. See you then.